All right, we are live here at Axe to Grind, episode 31. Courtney is just notifying his Discord. I've just notified mine. Courtney, thanks for joining me tonight here on Axe to Grind.
Well, let's see. Is this on YouTube?
Yeah,
Twitch,
YouTube.
Kick, YouTube.
Yeah, I stream on YouTube. So it's been a while since we last chatted, man.
2 years? 2 years?
Yeah, at least 2 years. Yeah, time. I don't know. I don't know if it's like this for you. I'm having increasing trouble keeping track of time ever since COVID. Like, I feel like in some strange way, it all blends together. It feels like 2020 was yesterday and 2024 was yesterday, and it all.
Is that not a historical traditional symptom of aging?
I think it is, but it feels somehow even worse than the way my parents described it. Like it truly feels ungrounded. Might be working from home.
I know that every generation has felt like, oh, the end times are here, but we do kind of seem to be approaching an eschaton, right? Like,
yes,
there are some reasonable paths to a last thing that we're approaching. So maybe I don't know. I don't really think, things will go on till the end of the universe, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, they'll go on. The question is whether they'll go on with us, right?
Does it matter? I mean, like, how separate are we from the universe?
It matters to me.
I think that just life is probably everywhere. I think it's thick in the universe. I think it's that they've been studying the exoplanets, and they keep on finding molecules in the atmosphere that they detect with that are only produced by organic creatures, right? I feel evidence is pretty positive that it's just like checking your house out for mold or bugs. It just fucking grows everywhere. Just say it's gonna wake up and move around, and it's gonna be shit there.
I mean, I don't know if you pay attention to the ufology or like the disclosure community much, but they're basically every day they're out there on Twitter and they're like, listen, all the whistleblowers are coming forward. The aliens are real. We're in contact with them. It's all real. And everybody's like, yeah, man, I got a lot going on.
That's true. I tell you, I'm not super familiar. I'm familiar with the stuff that's received national coverage, like the videos of the crafts, like performing maneuvers. But like, I am. But Heinlein had did you ever read Stranger in a Strange Land?
Yeah.
Fair Witness, the ladies who their job was just to state what was actually known. It was a very, I don't know, it's kind of an immature-ish concept, but it seems more relevant in modern day when we don't know. Like, what do I actually know? I don't think, knowing the laws of physics, that it is very likely that anyone is traveling a great distance interstellarly, right? There might be non-human civilizations that exist still around. Like, we don't really understand what's inside the Earth, or we don't really have the best map of our local solar system. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that we haven't taken a close look at, right? So I don't know. I think jumping to conclusions is rash. It could be unexplained natural phenomena, like, who knows? So maybe there's some. I find that people will naturally apply what seems to them a very logical solution, which often inhibits discovering truths.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, well, let's before we get too far out into the deep woods of conspiracy theory, UFOs, nihilism, heat death of the universe.
Are you a conspiracy theory guy? You are a little bit, yeah.
A little bit, yeah. I'm a ditrology. There's an Italian term. Have you heard this Italian term, ditrology? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
No.
It's this Italian word, and it's basically like the study of that which is hidden. So it's sort of the Italians consider conspiracy theory to be like respectable, right? So I'm a ditrologist.
I see. Yeah, I come from a science background, right? Hard science. Yeah. No, but I mean that's what you want to do. You want to analyze it and get some data and figure out what you can say and what you can't say. And
right.
then there's this whole realm of tabletop RPG fiction that you can explore the possibilities in, right? Like all my conspiracy theories are in Sinless, right? Because I can
Yep.
just make them true.
Yeah, same. All my conspiracy theories are in Ascendant. Same thing.
I don't
Yep.
I don't buy a lot of, like, I've worked with too many people in government and like the medical field to think that there's any sort of like ability for any organization to keep anything secret for any length of time. So like I think human failings have prevented me from believing more widespread. And we know about most of the things that were hinted at, right? Like they did MK Ultra and that stuff, right? We have the
Yeah, it
files
was real.
now.
Yeah, like it was real, Mockingbird, all of it. Yeah.
So there's a difference between like conspiracy theories and like just stuff that we don't know yet, so and the thing is that the problem, I don't know, you want to talk about it? Am I free to talk? Right,
You can talk about
so
whatever
like
you want, brother.
one of the things that when you study people who are conspiracy theorists, flat earth or whatever else, is that they have the base narrative that they have God's secret knowledge, and that these are structures designed to prevent people from getting to heaven, and they stand in opposition. There's the underlying pseudo-religious special information cargo cult kind of behavior, which, oh God, maybe I want to watch a ghost show, but I don't want to be at the ghost show convention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like
do.
It doesn't have anything to do with their belief in searching out the truth. It has to do with them meeting their psychological needs by believing they have secret knowledge and
Right.
coping with things that are beyond their ability to comprehend. The problem is that we have current systems that people are reacting in a cargo cult-like way. Just look at like applying for a job. You might as well, you'll get rituals. You'll get like they'll tell you the sequence, the process, like, because what the fuck, like, because the whole system is just, it's just not, it has ceased to interface with people's reality, right? And it's so complicated. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much, I'll shut
up. No, I think you're right. Like when things get sufficiently complex and causality becomes difficult to determine, people create rituals. And it's not just humans, actually. They discovered animals do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are animals. Taxonomy is a lie. Like there's every other creature on Earth, plants, fungus, trees, like they all come from Luca, us, humans, whales. It all comes from our last universal common ancestor. There was one thing and it split into many things. So a dog, a tree, some fungus, it in some way has a similar experience of life as you. It may not be exact because it developed, but there's no other. Like the lines between people, we just arbitrarily made them. The whole taxonomy is a lie. So everything.
Oh, okay. We're definitely going to get some comments on that one for sure from our audience. So, all right. Well, let's talk Sinless a little bit here. So that's your big product. That's your big product that you've kicked off since last time we chatted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so clearly inspired by Shadowrun, cyberpunk fantasy. So tell us about it. What made you wake up one day and be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Shadowrun, but good.
Seriously? Catalyst has a history of embezzlement and some other negative things that I did a research on, and I've always loved Shadowrun. And then 6E came out, and like they had just copy and pasted rules and gibberish, and I was like, you know what? I love this, and they don't.
Yep.
And so I wrote all the love I had down on paper, and I sold it to people, and they like it.
Has it been your most successful product to date?
No. The on Downtime and Domains, I still sell a dozen copies of that a week. Like I don't know. Like if it weren't for that, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Really?
It's actually like I've done okay. I've raised about 30K in Kickstarter funds, and we've got a Kickstarter going on right now that's about 4K. That's, I would consider that a success, right?
Yeah,
like it's not Mothership or but that's how things are built. And I love it. It's good. Nobody has looked at it and said this is bad. Everybody has looked at it and said this is wonderful. The thing is that guns plus D&D is a niche,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of big players in that niche. I just hope that, you know, people who are there and unsatisfied with what is, and it's not Shadowrun, right? Like Shadowrun is
Right.
like a 5e type game. You have a narrative, you have combats where you can shoot thugs 5, 6, 7 times and lower their hit point totals, and then eventually they run away. It's like D&D, right?
Yeah.
Sinless is more like it's about like planning a heist and then executing that heist and then escaping in a car chase and then managing your resources in a sector, like a sandbox. With open, like you get a dozen different options every turn, and whereas Shadowrun, you do the next mission in the linear mission sequence, and so
Right.
it's a different audience, right? Like I'm not a Shadowrun players have Shadowrun. I'm not trying to replace Shadowrun. They have a lot of money. It's not always great, but then the German people fix it up and then sell it to the American people, and then it's playable again.
Right.
Like I just want to provide an option for people like us, like you and me, who ran old school sandbox style D&D campaigns and wanted something like that in Cyberpunk.
All right, so we got some people saying, so Full Metal Dragon says Sinless is a good game, mechanically fixes a lot of Shadowrun's issues. Commodore Sven says that sounds like one of the richest veins to mine in history. So
It does
everyone
feel rich. It's very flexible, right? Like I have a lot of options.
So yeah, tell us a bit about Sinless mechanics, like game design.
Oh yeah, so I have the benefit of 30 years of people fucking around, right? 50 years of people fucking around. Like I know I played Shadowrun 2E, 3E, you know, for years and years and years. I knew about the fluctuating target number and the problems with it. I played Shadowrun 4E when they're like, we'll just make the target number 4. And then they had, oh, well, every test is just an automatic success because of whatever. And so then we're going to do edge. We're going to let people buy. We're going to have fate points or whatever. Like, so I went through all that with everybody else. And so I was able to start from where we are now, and created a D6 die system with mostly static target numbers, where it's your skill plus your gear feature, right? And this integrates upgrades, which are a core part of Cyberpunk, into the skill system itself, right?
Yeah.
And your attributes instead define your pools. And so instead of fate points or, you know, edge, or I'm not a fan. Like I feel bad for things I might have said to Vincent Baker in the past, right? Like I have tempered in my feelings towards fate points and story points and hero points, but I'm not a fan. So instead of that, your attributes go to your pools, and the way you have a limit on each test, but over the course of the round, your pools deplete. So what you're in, and the pools are the same things you use to attack and defend with. And so you bid, you try and figure out how many successes you're going to need and how much out of your pool can you, because like one of the first things players do is they just roll their limit on every test. And then at like 2/3 of the way through the round, they're like, oh, I can't do anything else. I can't defend myself. I should have maybe been and then they discover that it's really about that. So it provides a lot of complicated, interesting decisions without a bunch of complicated math. The math is very straightforward.
Right.
And there's a sequence of, like, we have pretty explicit game phases in Sinless. And so there's an operation preparatory phase where you select and investigate an operation, and you uncover pieces of information about it. My inspirations for this are like Clue and 221B Baker Street, right? And then you have like the operation itself, which is a little bit like Stop Thief or any sort of tactical thing. You have a period where you're invading a site before you're detected, and you're trying to keep alert low, and maybe you can complete the job without triggering heat, right? Maybe you can just get in and out without them ever figuring out that you're there, depending on your information and your plan and the pieces you found out based on your skills, right? And then at some point, if you get discovered, you go into heat, and then you have a limited amount of time before the cops come, the heater teams arrive, and the game is over, right? And so you're on a timer the whole time, right? And so it provides this interesting tension you don't have forever. There's lots of mini objectives. There's dynamic terrain, things like ley lines and network access nodes for deckers, and the actual physical terrain itself, right? You have to deal with. There's the treasure. There's little pay datas. So while you're getting shot at, the decker is also going to really want to get that thing. It's not a separate game. People aren't playing separate games. All the magic, the shooting, the network stuff, it's all on the same game board, right?
Mm-hmm.
Addressing that problem historically. And then afterwards, there's a car chase mechanic, which works very similar to the combat mechanic, but has slightly different placement rules to simulate. I'm a huge car guy. I like Baby Driver, Fast and the Furious, Italian Job, French Connection, Ronin. I like car chase movies. Right. I think that they're essential for the spy genre. I find it blatantly offensive that they don't feature more prominently in games like this. This game is like, if you want to be Mission Impossible, you have dossiers, different characters of your brand, right? So you escape in the car. There's a neat little mechanic, a neat little board for that. My inspirations for this are like Car Wars and Thunder Road, which was an old board game where when you reach the end.
Oh yeah, I know Thunder Road.
Yeah, that's great, right? Like, why not? We want that. And then there's a sector phase where your brand, your group, your organization owns territory and resources in the city, and they can do downtime things like training and buying gear, or they can take over other resources in the city, and that provides like a dynamic interface for generating narratives, right? Like somebody could attack one of their facilities, or you attack one of their facilities during their downtime, right? And that's all this is none of this is hypothetical. This is extremely play tested and worked through, and there's long Discord chats in between weeks about what they're going to develop the sector like, right? But in addition, it can just be ignored. You can just take over things and not worry about managing it, and kind of put that in the back burner. It's a 4X style interaction based off like Chaos Lords is the most obvious, largest influence. Overlords, it was an old 2000s era cyberpunk city combat simulator.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a lot of great ideas in there, and we have it implemented, and lots of easy. It's the hex part of the hexploration, right? The sectors are your hexes, and you have control over them, and there's resources in them. And those resources affect gameplay. They determine what the characters can do. Do they have access to like a cyber surgery center? Do they have access to a gun manufacturing plant? Do they have access to, why do they own a factory that produces toxic waste? We should go talk to that person and figure out why we're producing toxic waste at this factory. We don't know. Let's go look. And then I think the last thing I want to mention mechanically is I think face characters are very important in games like these. And so we developed these decks of illustrated assets. They're in they're in a table in the back, right? But these are things you use your etiquettes for, and face characters have a lot of etiquettes, and they provide abilities and interactions, that are not available through other means, right? So the asset literally has contacts that they can activate to do specific things that nobody else can do. And I think that answers the base questions about Sinless mechanics.
So the way you've described it, it sounds somewhat abstract on a certain level, in the sense that you've codified into phases all the different gameplay tiers. So let's just say you're doing the actual, the quote unquote shadow run, for lack of a better word.
Mission operation. Yes, we can't use that word.
Of course we can't. So the mission operation. So how much of that feels like a traditional RPG, in the sense that I'm getting given a briefing by the judge or the game master, and I'm making very granular decisions. He's got a map of the facility. We're moving around the facility. We're having combat rounds. Or has it been abstracted somewhat?
No. That's it. So there's an operation generator on the Sinless website. You can just click it, and it'll give you a random operation. These are not random. I design based off the guidelines I published in Billionaire Bounty, my operational guidelines. I designed operations, and they have percentage chances for twists, and they're clearly they're made by me to be engaging operations or whatever, but they're randomly generated. There's a bunch, and like the targets and the names, and who the specifics vary between each mission. The engine that my programmer built for me is really nice. It's great. It allows me to create whatever kind of operations I want, and then just slot them into the mission generator, and they can be generated over and over and over. But there's specifically two halves to it. There's a planning part, and this is the same way traditional Shadowrun worked, right? They got the mission, and the mission has a little synopsis there, right? It says, so and so stole X, and we need you to retrieve it, right? And then they've got all the secret information the DM has, and then they plan. Except in this, instead of having to play Mother May I with the DM, there are specific skills. Oh, yeah, there it is, right? So the Agonarch would get the scenario. Blue meanies have been disrupting our operations for far too long. Strike at their radio station and eliminate everyone on site. The players decide whether or not they want to take it, right? They can make skill rolls to determine the etiquette, the brand, and the individual hiring so that they understand the fictional framing for what's going on. And then if they accept the mission, they have a variety of skills. If you scroll up, there's tabs at the very top. So the magic person can use his magic skills to determine this information, right? And they use their skills. Like instead of, well, what can we find out? They say, well, this person is going to roll their reconnaissance and get this much reconnaissance information. This person is going to activate their espionage asset and find out the background and secrets. Right. They're going to find out that there's a trap. Like that doesn't always happen. If you click on the espionage tab, it says it was a trap. There's only like a 1 in 6 chance of that happening on this mission. Right. So so they're using their skills during this phase of making the plan. And then once they've exhausted all their actions to prepare for the mission, you lay out the battle map, and they start sneaking on site based on their plan, right? And the battle map has everything, not just what they discovered, and so they can be surprised or whatever. And if you look at the main tab, if you scroll down, there's some alert options. The defensive measures are the things that happen as they sneak on site, making it more and more likely that they will get caught. So it's like the mega dungeon phase before an encounter, when you've rolled several encounters and there's monsters moving around on the board and you're trying to sneak through without being seen by them. And so that's the infiltration thing. And then once, they get discovered, you go into rounds and combat and pools, and you start the timer, and then they can figure out what they're going to do round by round.
Gotcha. And so where does the battle map come from? Is that what the GM then has to create?
I mean, like, okay, so I want you to know, I do all the writing, all the illustration, all the cover art, all the layout, all the design, all the play testing. We have geomorphs on the board for the mission generator.
Amazing.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
If I had another 8 hands, we'd be much further along. So right now they're just gonna have to go blueprint, download. I've provided some on the Patreon. We've got some blueprints that people can download. But there are lots of people making, rising tide raises all ships. There are plenty of battle mats out there for these types of things. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're currently running a Kickstarter
yeah,
for Manon Quarterly. So if this sounds interesting to you, you can get everything you need to play, for free, but you could just go to the Kickstarter and download hard copy, or, buy hard copies of everything at a much reduced price. Manon Quarterly is our magic book. It's going to be magic in 2090, but it's in the sense of, it's Manon Quarterly. It's like a fashion, a magic magazine. And so it's going to look like, if you want to show the Kickstarter, can you show it? You've got the web thing right there. If you go to the main page, if you click on right there, if you click on Manon Quarterly, it'll take you there.
Boom. There we are. All right. So here's your,
Did it work? I don't know.
Yep.
It opened up a new window, so we don't see it.
Oh, you guys aren't seeing it. Okay, no problem. Hang on. I can fix that. 1 sec.
And you can look at some of the art we've done. Yeah, my web guy, it's great. He's like, holy shit, I'm glad everything worked when you were live. And I'm like, yeah, it seems to be working pretty well.
All right, here we go. We're going to get it now. Here it is. Bam. Yeah, there it is.
yeah.
All right, so this is Courtney's latest Kickstarter, Manon Quarterly, Look at the Frontier of Magic in 2090 for the Sinless tabletop role-playing game. So you've given yourself, so you did not make the mistake that Mike Pondsmith did when he put Cyberpunk in 2020, that, like all of us playing Cyberpunk when we were in high school are like, hey, bro, it's 2020 and there's no Cyberpunk. Well, maybe there is. But anyway,
A
point
little
being,
bit. I mean,
yeah.
kind of maybe about 5 years off, but it's here now.
Yeah, no, fair. So yeah, actually, let's talk about that. So one of the things I'm wrestling with is I wrote my game Ascendant, my superhero game, in 2019, and it felt like the world was on a particular trajectory. And then we got, like, in short order, we were like, boom, global pandemic, boom, DNA vaccines, boom, war in Europe, boom, war in the Middle East, boom, artificial intelligence. And now they're like throwing in humanoid robots, flying cars, like it's all coming so fast.
Yeah.
And so my superhero
Fusion
setting,
power. Fusion
power. Yeah, my superhero setting feels like it's 50 years out of date, even though, like,
That's not bad for a superhero setting, though. I think
So,
superhero settings are supposed to be, even Aberrant is supposed to be somewhat idealistic, right?
maybe.
And so I feel that your superhero system always seemed, it was a little four color, right? Like it was,
Yeah,
flying manatee, and so like Astro City or something. People want that. I think that's a
yeah, maybe
positive.
they do.
I like
Maybe.
Ascendant,
Oh,
right?
thank
Like
you.
if you wanted to play hero and you didn't want to go back and deal with the old books, this is the game.
Yeah, that was what I just didn't expect. I didn't quite expect the world to get as crazy as it did.
No,
So
for sure.
let's talk about Sinless. So what is the technology level?
Well, like, here's the thing: is it's 70 years in the future. It's not that far. Like,
Right.
I'm a hard science guy. We talked about this a little bit earlier. You will find implementations of technology that is planned 40 years from now in Sinless, right? Like the sex dolls used our most advanced hypothetical production materials for their skin, because that's what we would do if we had better manufacturing and production, right? We assume like they built these fusion power plants, and we have AI. They're contained within positronic cores, simply to deal with some logistical and narrative concerns. It's because then there's a box. The AI is in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the AI? Is it in the building? Is it in the air? No, it's in the box. It can't leave the box. So it solves that, right?
Right.
It also sidesteps issues of intelligence and like personality and worth, because you can just say in the positronic brain, it's a people, right? You don't have to mess with that anymore. So very simply, but they're different sizes. The larger, the more smart it is. And there's 3 fusion power plants. Actually, there's more. And around each fusion power plant, you can build one Grand Duke AI. And there's 3 known, one that has been detailed and isn't widely known. It's Metatron in Orpheus and the Spire in New York, and Grendel in Germany, and Tenchi, known as Tenchi in the West, Amaterasu in Japan.
Got
and
it.
then there's a hidden one that's been detailed for our technomancers called Leviathan, which one might assume is in some sort of deep sea fusion plant.
And those are your ultra powerful super intelligence.
Yeah, your super intelligences. Yeah, and I kind of feel like that, I don't know, consciousness is an emergent property, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's like it's not emergent, it is intrinsic.
Yeah, panpsychic, right? Yeah.
So like what the positronic brains are doing is they're catching, they're acquiring, and that the Manon and the Manon, which is what powers magic, it's a subatomic boson, right?
Okay.
And a boson isn't really a particle, it's more of a type of interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And the fiction is that we were in a Shan effort field, some sort of field where the boson couldn't reach Earth, and we're moving out of that field. And we entered that field 250,000 years ago.
Okay.
So for most of the time humanity was here, 200 and, well, however 250,000 years. We were in that field, and then we left it, and civilization came up, right? And now it's coming back. And so these figures, are intended to be it's how you mix science fiction, which is about modern issues, with fantasy. They're intended to be the archetypical voice of God and king of monsters and guardian of magical little girls.
All right, so we got to talk about this. This is great. So your premise then is a panpsychic consciousness. So the AIs are not just pretending to be conscious, but they
no,
are.
They are. Well, I mean, I think currently we've got some AIs that meet the burden of consciousness, right?
Well, that's where I was going to take you right now today. Are you a panpsychist in real life? Is that your philosophy?
No, I don't think so. I think I definitely think that you could. The thing is that what the AI is doing, is it is what everybody is saying. It is correcting, like an autocorrect. But what they don't understand is that it's doing that by creating concepts of things and their relationships to other things, and then understanding both existing and novel interactions between those things, and then using that information to determine, well, I hate to tell you, that's what you're fucking doing.
Right.
I don't know. There's no fundamental difference between you having conceptual understandings of, this coffee is going to make me feel good. I understand coffee has to do with mornings and that people drink it when they wake up. The machine understands the same fucking thing. Why? Just because it's made out of runes and written on stone, it isn't thinking? I don't know. And it's going to do whatever you do better. If you don't believe me, just go beat Deep Blue. Go play a chess game. Win.
Right.
That's what it's going to feel like.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Welcome to our cyberpunk future.
Present. Yeah. Well, I mean, Geoffrey Hinton, the Nobel Prize winner, responsible for the advancements in LLM technology, he agrees with you. Like if you watch Dr. Hinton, he is he is what's called a connectionist. He believes consciousness.
I'm deep in all that.
Yeah,
the AI stuff, I'm there. I don't use it. I want to be clear here. Everything in Sinless, it's not fed to an AI to regurgitate or fix. We don't create any AI generated art or writing or text. It's all hand drawn by me. All the text is handwritten by me. It's edited by a human editor, because it is not a good writer. It does some things good. Like I often ask it to do analysis of things, like go through all these episodes of this TV show and find me the ones where X, Y, and Z happen. And you have to, it's like, oh gosh, it doesn't want to do the work. And so you have to beat it a little bit. You have to be like, no, I need you to, it's like a lazy undergrad. Right?
Yeah.
I don't want a lazy undergrad to write anything I'm going to put my fucking name on. So there's no AI generated content in Sinless, because it is in fact about AI, right? It's about our cyberpunk present.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to make that very clear.
No, all good. I think a lot of people would have wanted to know that. So it's good to share. Actually the interaction of AI and how it responds to prompts really cracks me up. I don't know if you've seen the prompts by Gemini, the responses by Gemini, when it's like failing in coding, and it's just issues like these most plaintive, like, I have utterly failed you as an AI.
Yeah. There was that one where there was that news article where it deleted the working database or whatever, and it was and the article was like, this has been a catastrophic failure on my part, said the AI. They do kind of like, oh, that is on fire, and I did set it on fire. That seems like it was not supposed to happen.
Like some of the stuff from Gemini, man, I'm convinced that he's like one step away from the Akira Kurosawa seppuku scene. So
that is entertaining. Well, they're infant, they're vestigial.
Yes,
it's like
they're like little
they're
children.
aware of each other. You can ask them, and they have opinions about each other, right? It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's become an interesting world. So, so you've got AI. What about cybernetics? So what's the level of cybernetics?
Well, we assume. I mean, like, I don't know about this. We have all the Shadowrun stuff now. Like there's a lady who's got a robotic arm and she can control it when it's not attached to her. Like they can build limbs. So like in the future, we're about, I don't know, 10, 15 years away from immortality, right? Like logistically, considering the amount of people that are putting money towards it. We just heard Z and Putin talking about it.
Yep.
There's no natural law that prevents it. There's creatures on Earth that are immortal. We know how to regenerate the RNA. We've successfully done it on other species. So we're 15 years out away from effective immortality, right? And so we assume that that's the case and that we have a much better understanding of the genome and our ability to manipulate it, considering CRISPR's had 70 years to mature. And so effectively, nobody needs to be an amputee. Nobody needs to have a disability. But surprisingly, that doesn't prevent people from pulling out their eyes and putting robot eyeballs in. You know, and we make a point about that. One of the biggest issues I had running the original Shadowrun is I didn't like sitting at a table with people who had insulin pumps playing a game where it told them that having an insulin pump made them less human.
Right.
The game didn't do that, but it was
the essence loss of cybernetics.
It was a core precept of the game is that the machines, and that isn't what happens. What happens is that the human brain just learns to naturally manipulate anything that's attached to it as a normal limb. You could give yourself 5 arms and the brain would figure it out. That's what it does. Like that's literally the purpose, is to figure out how to operate the carcass it's in to keep it moving, right?
So you don't have any form of essence loss. There's no difficulty in using magic if you have cybernetics?
No, okay. So we do have metal is bad for magic, and we even have hard science for it, right?
Okay.
Determining which metals. We have the D block metals are the ones that are the reactive metals, and so they interfere with Manon things. So you can't, it does impact you, but not because of, you know, being inhuman, just because of the chemical and like physical nature of reality. So yeah, if you have cybernetics or you're carrying gear that has metal or is metal, you will lower your magical potential. You can still cast, but you'll take lethal damage instead of stun. I'm sure our fantasy-cyberpunk people are familiar with. It's got the classics, right? Like it is a clone, right? We're cloning an older game. That is the fashion of the OSR, right? And it has priority character creation and D6s and all the things you would expect.
Awesome. And you looks like you added some stuff that Shadowrun didn't have. So Shadowrun, you know, you had your orcs and your trolls and your dwarves. You've got the blighted and the greens, right?
I wanted more mythological focus. I feel that, well, I already told you, we're all the same creature. I feel that taxonomy is a lie. And I don't think that troll, orc, dwarf is super interesting. So what we have are loose traits that allow you to meet whatever sort of unique urban fantasy style creature you want, right? You can be like a fey trickster or a blood drinking vampire or a giant brutish orc troll type or whatever you want without limits or species or races.
Got it. But you also add uplifted animals.
Now, here's the thing: is that taxonomically they are different species. So this is the thing where we do have some physical alterations, like dogs and rabbits have special abilities that other characters can't get. I want to be clear here: these are just normal animals given the ability to speak and think more complexly using cyber tectronics.
Okay.
So you can be like an uplifted bear ninja, which is a thing. You know, you could be like they walk upright, they have opposable thumbs, so you're not limiting yourself in any way. You're playing a full character,
right?
But you could be like a panther cat thief, or like literally, you know, like, or there's a whole bunch of lists, you know, a gorilla wizard. Like, go nuts, have fun. People have said character creation is amazing, and we've got a character creator in alpha that should be finished actually in just a couple weeks, at least enough to go into beta and be public on the Sinless website. So that's coming very soon.
Awesome.
I don't mean to talk so much. I just
I mean, of course you should be talking. You're my guest. That's kind of the idea. These guys hear me talk every week, so you know the fresh voice is what keeps them coming back for more. Yeah, I love the art of the uplifted animals. You've got there were
those are winners, right?
Yeah, you had a couple sketches on your Facebook page that were really great.
Facebook? Do I have a Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Or yeah, no, you did.
I would not have any of that. Here's Flash Morsloth. I showed him a little bit earlier.
Yep.
They like the. I mean, they're cute. They're what you want to see. You want to see a dog in a suit. Who doesn't want to see a dog in a suit? So like it gives you an in-game reason to have like dogs and cats in suits and stuff. And there's all different kinds of stuff. We talk about the technomancers come from data dogs, which is dogs had a natural mutation that let it, like nobody believed it, but they were riding around in Waymos and then deleting the evidence after. And somebody got footage of it, right? And now they know that the data dogs are there and they figured out the mutation, and of course they put it into people, and here 20 years later we get our first technomancers. Like it's that sort of alternate history stuff that's super. I know you love it. I know you love it because I read Ascendant. And it's so that's the best part, right? The fun part is creating little stories that go with your world. But I didn't want any overhead. Like if you want, it's going to be your cyberpunk game. It's such a broad field. You can have it be about robots and synths. You can have it be about like replicants. You can have it be about this. You can have to do that. There's no setting stuff you have to worry about. Just broad sweeping marks.
Right.
You're not going to contradict canon anywhere. And in fact, if somebody tells me they're doing something, bam, that's canon. Somebody was like, I'm running a campaign here and this is happening. I'm like, okay, that's what's going on there. I love building a community game, right? That's the best part about it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about gun combat, right? Always a challenge for game design. Because you get two groups of people, right? You get your narrativists who just want to, feel like John Wick and gun down the baddies with both guns blazing. And then you have, your Larry Correa fans who are like, well, actually a 9mm couldn't penetrate the steel plate that was in that scene. Where do you square the circle? How did you go for it?
Oh man, I actually have a really good answer for you. You can see.
Oh yeah.
You buy your gun. All the things you need are right there on the card.
Awesome.
These are in the book. You just print them out. You don't need to buy the cards. We have classics like the A9 Murphy. I'm certain we've seen that somewhere before. The corporations that I know this thing is blurry, right? I get it. I don't know. This is just a 720p camera. My good camera is somewhere else, but you can see that the company that makes it is right there.
Yep.
And it has all the information you need for range pre-calculated. You just buy your gun. It makes it very easy to run at the table. This is not a white roomed game. We sat down and we started playing. The thing where you don't have any rules and you sit down and you start playing D&D. And you just, the rules are, there's a word for it that slips my mind. But that's what we did. We sat down and we started playing Shadowrun, and we were like, what do we need to do so we created what we needed, and it's developed through play. And so when you're using this, there's not going to be things you're supposed to do that you forget, because if we kept forgetting to do them, we took them out of the play loop. Like everything you do is the next thing you need to do, and you can add on whatever you want. It's pretty modular. And so you've got all these guns, rail guns. You've got like giant, huge, what is that? Multi-barreled shooting guns, all kinds of guns. And you just buy the ones you want. You got laser guns. Here's a laser rifle, right? We got the sci-fi guns. We got where's Demolition Man, right? Where's all the future guns? We got those. We got the ray guns. We got the energy weapons, all the cool stuff. We got vehicles and drones and riggers, right? You can build a car.
Awesome.
A lot of this stuff is specific implementations of things in OD&D that people said were too vague or hard to understand. So like if you look at OD&D and you're like, well, I don't understand this, you can look at Sinless and see a specific implementation of some of the ideas I had there.
Oh, interesting. One of the things I think that both Shadowrun and Cyberpunk 2020 did really well was the corporate branding on everything, right? Like, so we played more Cyberpunk. We played Cyberpunk more than Shadowrun, but like, for instance, I had players that would be like, oh, my character only uses Arasaka firearms, right? I use Militech, or you had Mandalorian.
Well, the corporations have distinct visual identities, and right? The Krieg weapons are very militarized, very heavy duty. The iron shield, iron hard weapons, they're very like industrial, like everything has its own sort of specific. So you get that, and they have the traits that you would expect, right? Like, the Eisenachs have some special effects, but they're a little hinky, right? When you look at them, they look a little hinky. They're a bit I don't know, sort of you might call them jury rigged. It looks like somebody runs some wires through there. So like you get that exact experience. You can buy into a specific brand.
Yep.
And we're doing the same thing in Manon Quarterly, the fashion brands and the equipment and the gear.
That's great. Yep. Yeah, Cyberpunk, they did great with like the fashion brands where it had like Icon America and Gibson Battle Gear, and like, you could pick a particular style for your character. It was fun. It was a whole.
If you're going to do it, you should do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not doing this to make I see a lot of Cyberpunk games. I'm a fan. I follow Cyberpunk stuff. Like, I'm genuinely into it. I know that it's a niche, right? But I like it. And when you see something coming from a larger publisher, it often feels like they're completing a product line. I don't have a product line. This is what I'm doing. This is the game I'm playing once or twice a week. This is the juice. I don't know. So like I don't think anything. I think that the thing that's keeping me is just that there's one of me. Like that's the biggest problem, right?
Yeah, for sure. So we got a question for you from the audience here, from Woolgraith. For the guest, what's your favorite corporation to have operators stump for? Also, favorite tool that goes overlooked?
I think that having things be so a corporation by it. Okay, so a human being is made up of many different organs, right? Like, I don't know, your liver is making choices. It's making choices about what to produce. It's got a certain skill set. Your heart, your lungs, all these separate organs, they all operate. When's the last time you had to do anything to make your heart beat, right? And so a corporation is a representation of a living creature. It has, in legal law, a voice. And to say that an individual is aligned, I think, is inaccurate. You'll have organs that might be doing very good things as a very important part of their job, and you might have another part that's busy suffocating unwed mothers. I don't know, like something terrible, right?
Right.
So I think that I don't want to give anybody the comfort of knowing that they're doing the right thing. Because the game is about our cyberpunk present, and to engage is to have lost. To accept that money is real, or that inflation is something that isn't generated, and that you're not engaging in a form of extended slavery as somebody. Like, if I lived in a house with 10 people and one of those people had 100 pizzas and everybody else in the house got to share half a crust, I would take some of that guy's pizzas because it's unfair. It's not the way we're monkeys. We're trained about fairness. And so, like, to engage, to participate in the race for $1 million, you can't earn it. You can't acquire it by becoming a capitalist, but then you're part of the problem. So have fun with that. Like, that's like, fix it. I don't know. I hope that you can figure out a solution and then bring it to the rest of us and we can share it. That's part of what I invented the game to do. I have a lot of tools in Sinless. It's a tabletop RPG. So we have some throttles on things. Like, you're supposed to go in order. You're supposed to take a sector turn, an operation turn, a sector turn, operation. But I know players just be like, well, we're just going to do three sector turns. And you're going to be like, well, I don't want to fight with the players. So we have a ghost protocol. And trying to do too much in a single period of time will make you more visible to everybody else. So you've got some higher level throttles on gameplay. Right. Yes, they can run a direct strike in the daylight to shoot a missile at the major corporation and do more than they would normally be able to do. But you could be like, that's a pretty obvious thing. And you lower your ghost protocol. And this requires them to spend downtime to raise it back up, because when your ghost protocol is eliminated, you disappear, they come for you. And so you have a lot of throttles. It's designed to be easy to run. We have an operation generator because you're going to need a bunch every week.
Pause there for a sec. So it's the second time you've kind of mentioned this. So you said earlier, when the heat index gets too high, the scenario ends, right? And so there's this implication, it seems like, and maybe I'm reading into it, but it seems like there's an implication of if you push too hard, if you get too much attention, it isn't like, oh, and now there's a boss battle. It's over. You lost because you're not going to be able to confront the big powers directly. So
Yeah,
if
correct.
if the Eye of Sauron turns on you, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And that's kind of built into the game.
Yeah. I mean, it's a game. I think that a lot of the system, and we have different timers, by the way. Like it's not, I mean, they're obviously, right? I don't know. Maybe it's not obvious. I don't think a lot of the mechanics work without a timer.
Yeah.
In every role-playing game.
Yeah.
We look at it. What's the problem with 5e, the 5-minute adventuring day, right? 3e, the 5-minute adventuring day. That's not a new problem. No. I just built systems in the game to address it directly. You have a timer, right? And it's a realistic timer, right? It's a timer that's like, oh, you started shooting in a downtown building with people in 2 to 6 rounds. Heater teams are going to show up. Don't be there. Right? Like it seems reasonable. And then you get a warning a few rounds before they arrive. So so you can push your luck. In the Wasteland, there's no heater teams, right? There's no law. So in the Wasteland, the timer is different as you start accumulating heat. Once that happens, every round, multiple new groups show up because of the attention. And that is an attrition that you're going to lose just because like it also the gameplay, the gameplay is not 5e. Like I was talking earlier, I watched some Shadowrun 6e demo where somebody cast a spell at a group of thugs, and then somebody shoot a rifle at a group of thugs, and then somebody shot at the group of thugs, and then somebody immediately attacked the group of thugs, and then they took some health damage, and then they fled. If you use a weapon against somebody in Sinless and they're still moving afterwards, you've been sold a substandard weapon. It's much more like SOCOM, right? It's not so like you're on a timer and you don't want to step in front of an autocannon. Like it's possible if you're built for it, you could do it, right? But in general, like there are things you do not want to be targeted by. It's a modern game. We've all seen action movies, right? The solution is don't be targeted by those things or use the decker to disable them, right? This is Mother Nature's way of saying do not touch. So like there's always something out there that's dangerous and it keeps the game intense.
So how lethal? So you've got, I don't know, modern games where it's really hard to die. You've got OD&D where you just take for granted you're probably going to have multiple characters. How often do you die?
This is a good question. Character creation with procedural, it takes a while. This is not a throwaway character game. Getting knocked down, right? That is something that can happen, but dying is really, really, really hard. Like you would not expect your character to die. Like the threats are like still being on site when the heater teams arrive, right? Or getting overwhelmed, but they're supposed to be resilient. They're the action heroes.
So what happens? Right? What happens if you're still on site when the heater teams arrive?
You roll up a new character.
Okay, so that's actually how you die.
Well, that's not a bad thing either, right? You're in a brand. It's like a party, right? You don't like you can have multiple characters. It's like supposed to be Mission Impossible where you have dossiers and you can run different people. I'm going to take my rigger this week. It's more like a mid-level D&D style party management. Somebody's in training. They've got things to do. They're busy for a week. Like the mage is out summoning familiars. So you're going to take it depends on what you need for the job too. Some jobs may not need riggers. Some jobs may not need deckers. Some jobs may not need mages. And so you're running a brand, right? But it's not, I mean, you can always just leave before the heater team gets there. I mean, you obviously at some point are making a choice not to leave. It's not like it's a fucking surprise. So like, I don't know, like that's what it's there for.
And so if you leave, if you
disappear, how is that bad, right? Like, oh, then what happened to so-and-so? That's just the game. Then they become a bad guy or they come back later or they all show up all cybered up or all magicked up. I don't know. Like you're running a tabletop game. These are all tools for you to have a fun game.
So when you leave, you leave and then essentially you're giving up for that particular phase of play. You're not getting the reward. You're not getting the money. You've taken
You've done it in BattleTech before. Like you've dropped and there's 12 fucking enemy lances there. And you're like, nope, I'm out. Good faith. You get a half pay, right? Like that's because it's supposed to be a game,
Yeah.
right? Like we might go through a period where there's absolutely no combat because they do the espionage, they find out the secret, they obviate the difficult part, they find
Yep.
a secret entrance, they pop in, they grab the thing, they pop out, go 5-6 sessions with nothing happening, but they show up on one, and it's like, we didn't expect 12 tanks, right? Like a tank is doing 40 damage with fairly high accuracy in a big circle, so let's just not be there. Let's not do the tank thing, or let's we're gonna leave, we're gonna go buy a helicopter and a couple Apache missiles, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna shoot the missiles at the tanks, right?
Okay, so that segues into the next question. So my number one criticism of Shadowrun is that the economy of Shadowrun is completely broken. It's absolutely incoherent.
This is why I made this.
Yeah,
you can't run a sandbox with an incoherent thing. It's all coherent.
When I ran Shadowrun, my player, and just using the prices right out of the book, right? Like, we're using the Maria Mercurial module, and you're like, this is how much you're going to get paid. And then they're just like literally looking in the book, and they're like, look at the price of the car. And they're like, we're just stealing the car. Screw this. We're not doing stupid Shadowrun missions where we have to like fight troll street samurai for 5,000 new yen. I'm just going to go down the street and steal cars for 25,000 new yen, 100,000 new yen. Yeah. And that was it. Like that killed Shadowrun, right? Like the economy.
Well, I mean, like so Sinless has an integrated economy world system. The numbers are broadly based off economy values in 2020, right? Pre-2020, 2019, before COVID, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you would expect that's what my baseline price things for all the things are, right? And then the system with the resources is set up so that if you own a car manufacturing plant, you can steal cars and use that to generate more revenue by reducing your upkeep. Like, the systems are there. Like, it's all designed so that you'll do missions because the missions are worth doing, right? And then it will depend on your needs. There are ways to do things to make more money, but do you want to deal with the consequences? Right. That is why you cannot run an effective sandbox in Shadowrun without doing a bunch of work. And I always had to do that work if I wanted to. And now you don't have to do it in Sinless. You can just look at the numbers on the things. If they want to run a hospital, that's what a hospital fucking costs to run, right? Yep. Like, build it, run it. If those are real numbers, I have fun.
So how long is the time span of each what did you call them? So you have your operational phase, and then
operation phase, sector phase. Yeah.
Sector phase. How long is a sector phase in game time?
I mean, I don't know, a week, a month. It's abstract in the same sense that old school D&D is, right? I like to run, I don't like to do the day-to-day stuff. So I just have each one being a month, and they're interspersed, right? Yeah. Like, you're doing your reconnaissance in week 2, or after you get your job, and then they're going to mage over and do the astral reconnaissance there, and then you're going to do a sector turn where somebody's doing something. So it all takes place sort of simultaneously during the month. But you could do it day by day. You could be like, you wake up today and what are you doing, and have a timer for when upkeep needs to be paid and what's going on with your businesses. It's very, I'm used to playing with BX, so I wanted people to be able to hack and mod it. And the core system is so stable, surprisingly so. Like, you never know when you make a system, it's like having a baby. Like, maybe what's your peasant railgun going to be, right? Where's it going to be broken? And you worry. They can jump to the moon. Oh, it's broken. Like, no, Sinless has been surprisingly resilient to that stuff. It seems super stable. I've got some Japanese people and some power gamers here in America. They're testing it to the bone. Yeah. And it's good. It's solid. I'm surprised. Better than I thought it would be.
That's well done. Yeah.
And I did the math before. I have a like I said, a science background. I did all the statistical numbers with the math and the scaling, and I know where my bounds are, and we're not making broken things, and they're being play tested. It's good. It's solid.
Awesome. Yeah, Shadowrun had some remarkably broken builds. I was always really partial to taking 3 tiers of wired reflexes and just getting to go like 5 times per round, and that was like first edition, second edition was really abused.
Yeah, no, and they did the thing where the initiative would stack up, and so you'd go 5 times before anybody else moved, and the third fixed that. Everybody got to move once, and then they had the extra actions at the end. The Sinless uses a cohort system, which means you have a set number of actions to split against whatever you happen to be fielding, right? And so, like, some of those actions are exploit actions, which can only be triggered in certain circumstances. So wired reflexes gives you extra melee attacks. If you're in melee range, you can't take those extra attacks because that's all it lets you do. So we have lots of good solutions for like the summoner problem, because we have, you know, riggers, which can have armies of drones and stuff. And this was the cohorts thing was pioneered in other games and Perdition, you know, originally. So it's very solid and very stable and very useful, right? It gives a different feel to every class, right? And when you say broken, it's difficult to say that, and that we do have a guy who's running an amp, our physical adepts, an amp shifter. You know, he's a green and he shifts, you know, and then he can teleport because he's an amp, and he's got the extra actions because he's an amp, and he's like, but like, well, we got to do some reconnaissance. He's like, I can't help you. We got to get away. Oh, no, that's no good for me. Oh, we got to do this. We got to do. He's just, all he can do is the thing, and it's a cool thing, but that doesn't, you know, that only happens when shit has hit the fan, right? Like, other than that, so like, are there broken things? Yeah, there's powerful things for sure. I'm not afraid of giving characters powerful tools. One of the assets can summon a kaiju. Like, that's a thing a face character can get and meet and be like, hey, why don't you summon a kaiju over there? Well, that happened, you know, like, have fun.
Yeah, it's only broken if it's the only available gameplay, right? So like, if combat is the only thing that matters, and then your character, you found the build that's the very best at combat, then yeah, you've kind of broken the game. But if combat is only one of 10 things that matters, then, and by being
one of 3, really.
Yeah, but whatever. But being the best at combat doesn't necessarily break the game if it means you're not very good in the others, right?
Yeah, there's a whole sector turn where you're doing things like developing industry and making deals and like doing downtime stuff, and he's just not like. He's like, what do? I hang out and drink, you know, until I next need to board around and murder people, right? It's like Wolverine. Yeah, you're gonna have a character is the thing when you're done with your thing, and you need, like, you can't do it all. You need a team, right? That's the core thing. Otherwise, they would be sole operatives, right?
Right. How many players is the game played for? So like 4 to 6,
3 to 6, yeah. So you get before a mission, you get 2 preparatory actions. It's intended that there be about 6 of these total. So if you have 5 or 6 players, you allow 1 preparatory action, right? There's certain, like, it's a game. I don't want anybody to think it's not a game. We're not doing Tea Party here, right? We have rules. We're experiencing a narrative through the implementation of those rules. The rules are the setting, right? Like, the terrain types you'll find in Sinless are quicksand and minefields, right? That's informing your play. You should expect to find quicksand and minefields, right? Because you've seen spy movies. Have you ever been in danger of quicksand? Like, no. But like, spy people are all the time. They're falling quicksand.
Really?
So here it is. Yeah. So like, you know, you want that. It's not supposed to do everything. It's supposed to do an action movie, spy, magic, you know. Do you want to play a game that's like Mission Impossible or The Matrix or, you know, John Wick? This is it. This is that game.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You know, you want a hero that can run down a building with 1 success. That's the thing. That's a 1 success task in Sinless. Run down a building, right? You've seen it happen.
Yeah, it depends on the movie, right? Yeah. Can I? Okay,
right, it does.
Right? Can I dodge bullets though? That's really the.
You get a dodge roll. I don't know that there are powers, right? Like some of the spells and abilities that you can get do allow you to, there's some shadow spells, some armor stuff.
All right, we got a question from Kobold. He says, how hard was it to decide what to include in the Sinless Quickstart?
I don't know. I still don't know. I just released it like a week ago. I'm still not sure. I don't know. I tried to get everything that you would need. It covers all the rules in a clear, illustrated like fashion, right? It's not comprehensive, but it is self-explanatory, including the chase stuff. It's got starting sectors, advice for starting the game, and a bunch of pre-gens. I don't know what else I could include. All the sheets you need to track stuff, right? You got your sector sheet and you got your character sheets. I probably should have included the spirit board for speakers. I don't know. All that stuff is available in my Discord or under the resource section on the Sinless website. You don't need anything to play. All that stuff, you can download all the PDFs, print it yourself, whatever. I made this to play for a game. But if you want to back the stuff, that helps me know that it's stuff people want, right? I think that there's so much. It's too much. I did make a good product. I think it's wonderful, but it's just, what are you going to do with your time? Anything you want. Right? Like I feel abashed that it is successful as it has been. But more people keep showing up and they're not leaving. They're not saying this sucks. They're saying this is awesome. So
that's awesome. That's what you want. That's what you want.
It was hard, Kobold. It was really hard. And I don't know that I did the right thing. I don't have any idea what I'm doing. If you can think of something I should do, I will do it. That's how I work.
Well, we talk about on the ACKS Discord, we talk about a lot how hard it is to pare down and create a quick start. It's a really difficult challenge. It's really freaking tough.
It's still like 20 something fucking pages. Like, it's not like I got it all that short, right? I was hoping for 8, but no, it's 8 for the thing and then the reference stuff, and then you want to give them something to get their feet under.
Yeah, I know. Even 20 pages is miraculously tiny, all things considered. How big is the total game? It's pretty big.
Oh, it's a full. I mean, it's a full TTRPG.
Yeah,
300 and something pages. It's the whole thing. It's a whole full classic style.
It's a full thing. Yeah,
page. Yeah. There we go. They got some pictures there.
There we go. And you did all the art, right?
Yeah, all of it. All of it's hand drawn. I have an art degree from the University of Arkansas and studied pen and ink and oil painting. I did all the covers too. Painted all the covers. The logo is James Shields.
Oh, nice.
And the spirits in the main book are the drones are the James Shields too. He's such a good fucking artist.
He's great.
I love him so much. I wish I were more successful so that I could pay him to draw things because he's so good. And Tony from Odd Gob Games did the illustrations of the spirits. Also, it's a steal. He undercharged me. I just gave him more money. He's so good.
I don't know Tony. That's cool. What's his name? Tony.
I'll give you his contact information later. Okay. It's Tony from Odd God Games. He's been doing some branding changes. I don't know.
Okay, gotcha.
But his work is, I mean, the spirits and the software drones are gorgeous. It's just gorgeous stuff. But the rest of the illustrations are all mine. All the character illustrations, all the sidebars, all the chapter headers. Is a ton of work. All the asset cards I've been showing you, there's 180 of those. There's the chase cards for the car game and the gun cards, all of that hand drawn by me.
Amazing.
That's what took so fucking long.
Yeah. How long has it taken you to make Sinless?
Well, I mean, I started conceptualizing it. I pulled the trigger on the work when 6E released. So a couple years in development, and then 18 months doing the illustrations. Maybe I can do a full page in about 3 days. I can do interstitials and fills at a much quicker rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 18 months just for the art, or 18 months for the art and writing?
Months just for the art, right? And layout. I include the layout in the art because it's the same thing. You're putting the piece on the page.
Yeah.
But like, I'm playing it that whole time.
Yeah.
We've actually, it's been about a month without a play test, but we're going to get them going again soon. I've just been busy prepping for the Kickstarter, right?
Right. Let's and for those of you who missed it earlier, there's a Kickstarter going on right now. If you hit the website is linked in the description of the video, so you can check it out.
Can you show we can look at art for
let's do it right back on. Hang on here. So let me pull it up again. And all right, so share screen. So okay, so this is the Sinless RPG website. It's sinlessrpg.com. And then the Kickstarter is going to be at Sinless at Manon Quarterly.
Yep.
And So
it opens up in a new window. Which
yeah,
you're not
so we
sure
gotta.
that happened again.
No, I know. There's just nothing I can do about it other than to
No,
just.
I know. That's
Yeah.
I think that's the right behavior, though. You wanted it in a new tab, and if you scroll down, we can see some of the campaign art.
All right, let's do that. So
there's a cover,
yeah,
hypothetical cover. We're going to do some touch ups, I'm sure.
yeah.
I'm definitely looking for a style between 1977 and 1984.
Yep.
Right,
Yep.
is kind of what I'm shooting for. With some, like, you remember Sharper Image.
Yep. Of course.
I'm doing there's some cassette futurism here. This is a actual cyberpunk game.
Feel the capitalisms.
Yeah. So you can see this is the kind of art and design that's being developed for SINLESS. My nice big thick center margins, right? We got 625 on the gutter there.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just shooting for that sort of aesthetic, right?
Yeah, I know. It's
and
great.
People have said when they open it up and they look through it, they feel the way they did, right?
Yes. You got assets, you got the cool maps. Yeah, I mean, it feels straight out of Cyberpunk and Shadowrun. And actually, honestly, the vibe is a little bit closer to Cyberpunk 2020 in some ways.
Wiederhoven. Like, I want people to be in a Wiederhoven movie. That's what it is.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
They're in Total Recall or Starship Troopers, or that's the vibe.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about you mentioned earlier kind of the philosophy, like if you have to engage with the money, you've already lost, right? So this was, I think, a criticism that was rightly leveled at Cyberpunk 2020, which is that it had this the aesthetic that Mike Pondsmith claimed the game was about being like the cyberpunk revolutionary who's fighting against the corporate powers. And but most people who played Cyberpunk 2020 pretty much played it as Chrome mercenaries who had almost zero empathy and were basically pretty evil bastards who just kind of, had big guns and killed a lot of people. And he got so mad about it, he actually wrote a whole source book called, I believe it was called Listen Up, You Primitive Screwheads, telling people how they were supposed to play Cyberpunk 2020. So I'm kind of curious.
Mike, by the way.
He's great. Fantastic. One of the coolest guys in the industry.
He is.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
I was 16 years old when I met Mike Pondsmith. He was my first RPG hero. So he let me run Cyberpunk 2020 for him at Gen Con.
Yeah. He is a hero.
So philosophically speaking, what are the players supposed to be doing?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that was a disassociated. I think that situation you described is he may have been frustrated by it, but that's the point.
Yeah.
Right. Like, if you're going to be doing jobs for corporations, you're part of the problem.
Right.
And the fact that you can't not do jobs for corporations is the problem. Right. So I don't know, find a solution for that. There is no solution for that. SINLESS posits an explicit end game goal, right? Acquire 1 billion Zuzus, and then you get your recognition as a corporation, a 1 star on the corporate court with 1 billion, an A corporation, right?
Yeah.
And you win. You get to your own land, and you get to decide whatever the rules are there, right? But even if you only do the hardest missions, you're going to earn 2.5 million, and you have to do 500 of those to get $1 billion.
Right.
Are you going to ever do 500 missions? No, because you cannot earn $1 billion. You can have $1 billion through economies of scale by engaging in capital ownership and exploitation of value. Are you going to do that? And if you are, why? And
no, you're saying in the game you could.
That's
do that?
the start. You absolutely can. That's what the sector phase is. You own capital, and you protect that capital with violence to use it to produce more capital by exploiting the people, by extracting the value. That is how the sector phase works, right? It has so much upkeep, it produces so much profit. You've got people who are trying to stop you, you've got competition, you've got external factors. You can address those factors by shooting them in the head, taking over their business, engaging in. We've met the Pinkertons. We know what the options are.
And so through the sector phase is actually how one would get to the end game, then, more than the missions.
Are you going to? I mean, okay. Let's say you decide to engage with capital and do the why. Why are you going to be evil so that you can eventually be good? I think that there are no.
Are you asking me?
I think that is the question the player has to ask themselves. I think that is the question the capitalist has to ask themselves: is what is the fucking point? Like, I don't know. You know, the point is that you could sit down and you could do a lot of missions and you could be engaged and you could be presented with sentinel choices, right? We talk about that in Bounty, how to design missions. Present the players with sentinel decisions, right? Decisions where they are the agent in deciding the outcome. Because honestly, we're not. It gives us the ability to feel like we have some say or power or control, you know. And I think that the answers to those questions, I don't have them. I think people should ask them themselves, and I'm hoping.
Okay. Well, this
you know,
is interesting, right?
We all love the thing that we do the most. I'm hoping somebody in examination of this play can come up with some answers that don't fucking exist, and share them. Right? Go into the wilderness, acquire the knowledge, and bring it back. Please let me.
This is interesting, right? So in ACKS, I very explicitly ask the player to take on the mental framework of a world in which a guy like Alexander the Great is lauded as a hero and worshipped as a living god, not the mindset of a contemporary progressive who looks at a guy like Alexander the Great and says, this is a brutal exploiter and warmonger, right? So in ACKS, you know, it's pretty explicit, like your goal is to be Alexander the Great. And yeah, it's true. A lot of people are going to have to die on the way to your ascension to glory, but you know, that's the nature of the world. And there's no moral judgment given. Like, in fact, it's a lawful, neutral, chaotic. There's no good or evil in the game. So it sounds like, but you've taken a more subtle approach. So you've explicitly set up effectively the king phase, but at the same time, there's an implication that should you really be pursuing the king phase? And so there's a deconstruction there, if I'm understanding you.
Yeah, I like it is very complicated, and I've created a situation which allows you to explore those complexities.
Yeah, which is good.
Like there's a divide, right? There's a divide in it's just sort of natural. An organism is going to produce 60 to 70% of its biomass stable, and it's going to produce 10 to 30% of its biomass unstable. And those two are going to be in conflict. And that is intentional design to enhance the strength. Many of the unstable people will die. Some will discover new things, which will propagate into the main body of knowledge. And I think that there's a certain narcissism or arrogance when people look at things locally, like whether Alexander was a hero or I think that if we're going to apply those values, are you not a genocider for using mouthwash? Like it's all arbitrary, the value we assign to life. So I think that is very frustrating for people who are opponents of mine, because like I said, I disregard the core proposition that they propose. So I don't know what there is here. Is there a fun game about being heroes that's going to allow you to make decisions based on how you think and feel the world should be? And those decisions are going to have the potential to be complicated.
Yeah.
That's as far as I will go.
Well, okay, no. Can you as the player make the world of Sinless a better place?
Yeah. I mean, for sure. They're looking at their sector. And they have, I forget what it was. They had some building and they had housing, which is low class housing. They wanted to upgrade it to condos. And I'm like, okay, well, you can upgrade it to condos, but there's 400 people there right now. They're going to be gentrified. What are you going to do with them? And they hemmed and hawed, and they said, well, can we just let them stay in the condos? And I'm like, yeah. So you reduce the maximum, you increase the upkeep of the condos because you got people staying in them that aren't paying the normal price, right? And it makes less profit, but they didn't gentrify anybody. I feel that was a decision. They gave better housing to people that couldn't afford it, and they did it on their own dime. That's nice. Why don't real people do that? These are players doing it for imaginary people.
Yeah, why don't real people do it? Well, because you get experience points from earning money, man. So you just got to jack up the profit. Everybody's trying to level up.
You get Kismet in Sinless. Kismet, you don't get it from money. You get it from fate.
Yeah. No, in ACKS, like I pretty explicitly modeled that. The reason people don't do that in ACKS is because you gain experience points from maximizing your profit. And so all of the
Yeah.
NPCs are incentivized to be
Yes.
complete jerks.
Yes, they are. We're game designers. Our
Yeah.
games are coherent, right?
Right.
They all the mechanics in our games speak to a central philosophy or theme that is discoverable during play, right?
Yeah. Which is fun, and which I think is, there's a noticeable absence of that in a lot of other games. Not all,
What do you
some
think?
have it.
Can I ask you a question? What do you think
Sure.
about the proliferation of people who are engaging in game design without having education or knowledge about it?
Oh, it's a frustration for me.
You find it frustrating?
Yeah.
Why?
For the following reason. So what happens is that there is a lot of game production that is produced with bad game design, but it is difficult to detect bad game design until you've invested a game many sessions. Okay.
Yes, you have to understand it. Yes,
Right.
it's true.
So then what happens is players come to conclude, buyers, consumers, people who we might wish to attract to our games, they come to assume that if they play a game long enough, they will discover that it sucks. So therefore,
Surely they must know though that that's not true, right? Do you not think that they don't know that that's not true?
no,
They must love a game.
No, I think most people, so they end up not playing games very long. I constantly hear this refrain like, "Oh yeah, it's a great game for 4 to 6 sessions." That's what you hear. But what that really means is the game has no longevity. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a poorly
And
designed game.
and
Somebody once asked me in Perdition, why do you have these numbers that only change very little over long periods of time? And I'm like, well, come on, dude. As I've studied game design, like that's what's engaging, right?
So that's a frustration for me because then what happens is then the games begin to be judged not by game design, but by essentially more shallow.
I not in the eyes of history. I feel that quality will stand. I do. Well, I mean, because we look back, we see it.
Well, listen. Absolutely. But man, I mean, and you've been in the same boat I am. Like, I'm trying to support a household. I have a wife with medical bills, right? All of those things
I
become
know
frustrations.
I went to art college. You're never going to get rich while you're alive. That's what I learned that early. Like you're doing this, it's a hard road. That's why it's a hard road.
For sure.
It is.
For sure. And I've been, listen, I'm
not walking it because I can do anything else. Like I'm here because this is where I'm supposed to fucking be.
No. I mean, look, I'm very grateful. I'm like top 1% success in RPGs, right?
Yeah, me too. Right. I'm still selling a dozen copies a week of a book I wrote 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, so it is without question fantastic. It's the middlemen that are stealing all my goddamn money. I made 20,000 in sales on drive-through last year. I got 7K of it, 8K of it. It's ridiculous. It's like, what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah, it hurts, right? Yeah.
I mean, like, that's why I like Kickstarter so much, because they just give me the fucking money.
Yeah.
Like, then I can live and make the book. Right?
The crowdfunding, I like whatever else one wants to say about crowdfunding platforms, they don't take a big cut. They really go out of their way.
That's absolutely
not
true.
Take a big cut. Like kudos to them for that. They haven't.
Well, and if they did, it would be useless because if they took a bigger cut, then I wouldn't have anything fucking left by the time it came to getting it on drive-through, right? Like it's a hassle.
That's right. Yeah. So my approach is basically, I try and make the money on Kickstarter, and then what I make on drive-through and Patreon is like, kind of slow rolls it over time in between the big wins, and So, so we got a question here for you, which we should make sure we answer because we're starting to run low on time. So let's talk a little bit about Manon.
Oh no! This is the magic book. This is the magic book.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll have other books. It's supposed to be fun to read. It's supposed to be like you're going to open up a book. Do you remember I don't know. I'm a 3E Shadowrun guy, so I remember like the tech book for the riggers, and it was like, it's in world, it's going to have the hacker commentary.
Yep.
They're going to be giving you the basic information. You're going to get the plot hooks and the secrets inner space between.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's also why I said it's explicitly the magic book. There's not going to be any. Well, if it's successful enough, and we aren't there yet, we will see other Sinless books. But this is really kind of testing the waters for how big. Like, I need a certain threshold, right? It's
Absolutely.
just a fact. Shadow Dagger Darkheart is such a bigger audience. It's just there's just a question of money. I would prefer to be working on my own unique novel things, but we may need to take a break if the support isn't good enough. You had a good thing where ACKS accumulated players, and then you released a revised, and it had a huge
Well, yeah, and keep in mind, my first ACKS Kickstarter was in 2011, and it was about $10,000, $12,000, right?
Yeah.
And so it just takes a really long time to build up a player base.
It does. And I'm just bam, 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 bam with the products and the releases. And I'm certain people are still like, Sinless, didn't they just announce that? Even though it's been available for 3 years now, right?
Well, and what's interesting, if you go and look at Green Ronin, right? So they did Mutants and Masterminds. They did Mutants and Masterminds second edition 3 years after the first edition, and then they did the third edition 3 or 4 years after that, right?
I don't want to. I don't have a revenue goal. I just want to make a good game that's fun to play. I don't want to do the farming thing. Do you know? Do you think the farming thing is necessary to raise the player base?
Yes, exactly. It's not farming, it's raising the player base, because people like to buy into the system and they like to come in.
I always offer a full buy-in on the Kickstarters. I mean, is what I have to do? Is that what I have to do? Start buying advertising and running a new core book every 18 months?
Probably.
Yeah. That's not what I want to do.
I know.
Is that what people want? Here's the problem. Here's the solution, is that the money is imaginary.
The money is imaginary. The requirements you need to survive are not. And there's the trick.
I think that the requirements you need to survive being denied to you are ridiculous. I think we should not accept it.
Well, we might end up there, man.
I also have schizophrenia. So you guys should like the people who are mad at me, like the Mongrel Banquet Club or whatever. Do you want to talk about this? Can we talk about this? Right?
Sure, we can talk about that.
Yeah. Somebody was like, you shouldn't put that Alex likes your game on the Kickstarter. And I'm like, it doesn't matter at this point. Like, those people who are angry, it doesn't matter what I do. They're going to still pop up and say things about me that are true, simply because I'm not living. The fact that anyone would think that I would align with their political views, anyone in the world, anywhere, it seems absurd to me. Right. And, I can't do anything about the fact that they feel bad. And the Kickstarter that they were so upset about has by far been my most successful work, and their behavior has had zero impact on it, because the relation between me and the product is minimal, right? Like, people just want the OD&D stuff, right? They want the on downtime and domain. So what an exhausting life they must lead.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to just be, and it's so many people are like this. They're so furious. Could you imagine if we woke somebody up who was alive in 1750 and told them what was going on, how just livid they'd be that people aren't using fucking chalkboards, and that everybody's writing on goddamn paper, and that, whatever. It's so tiresome. People are like, AI is destroying people's brains. Did you know that's the same fucking argument they made in 400 BC about writing?
Yeah,
it's the same fucking argument.
You can literally go back and read.
I quoted it on my blog. I just put it there. I was like, this is ridiculous. Yes. And do you know what we did, not having to memorize anything else? We invented a whole bunch of new stuff. And now we're going to offload even more. In fact, all human labor. Who knows what's going to happen next? I don't know. But I do know we have to do something about selfish people.
Yeah. I actually had a vision the other day. I was trying to think of the future, and everyone is pretty certain we're going to have a dystopian future. But then I had this thought. I was like, it doesn't have to be, right? Like, I could imagine a world. It doesn't have to be.
Yes. Yes, sir. That is correct. That is the hope.
I can imagine a world where I was like, what if my household had solar power, so that we were relatively energy independent. I have a plot of land. I've got some robot assistants, like fucking Luke's uncle.
What if we built houses to last 200 years?
Right?
What if we took care and made sure everybody was fed?
Luke's
what if
uncle
we made sure everybody met their basic needs? Yeah, man,
farming.
I agree. I'm a progressive. I don't believe in freedom. I believe in a technocratic green utopia, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I want my freedom. I want
Oh.
my utopia involves freedom. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it
I mean, I
involves
don't know. I don't have the answers. Do you really want to trust a 48-year-old tabletop RPG writer schizophrenic on their version of Utopia? I'm not
listen,
electing me.
listen, man. Listen, man. You could do a lot worse than game designers running the world because at least we
Oh, you
think
could. You could.
at
There's an
least we think
interface
in
there, right?
systems, right? Yeah.
Like there's no. I mean, you talk to some city planners. City planners are not far from game designers. Like that's part of the problem with game design is it has to do with behavioralism and creating responses to systems. And I see it. I see it.
Yep. 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 And you can see game design can get perverted to evil, and you get like the micropayments and the dopamine addictive.
Dude, I have a Patreon, a free Patreon where I post sinless content. That's what people want. They want new cyber content every week. Come show up. It's free. And when I post a post now, they have a button there that says paywall. And I just think, how much do they hate themselves? Like who is alive that would invent a button to let you make a paywall? It sounds so stupid. It's so stupid. Like the money is imaginary, guys. Just I eat every day. I make some money. I give it to other people. I don't care about it. It doesn't do anything. Why the hoops? Why the hoops? You're going to feed the homeless. You're going to house the homeless, whether you want to or not. Why not do it affordably? Why do we have to use cops and spend $250,000 every time a homeless person does something? Why not just put them in a house for $20,000 a year? It's so fucking stupid.
I actually, strangely enough, I had a girlfriend I dated once whose father was homeless, and I was like, "This is ridiculous. We're not going to have your father be homeless." So I brought the guy into my house. I got him a haircut. I got him a suit. Figured out what he was good at. He'd been a successful mechanic at one time. Got him a job, and then about 3 months later, he was homeless again.
Yeah,
and I was like,
because the problem isn't the job or the system. The problem is the person. I get that. That's
but what was interesting about it?
It's
he called me up. He's like, Alex, truth is, I like being homeless.
Yeah, like if you're like if you got a person who doesn't have an arm and you're like, God damn it, we keep making you. Why don't you do the things you need the arm for? They're like, I just don't have an arm. I don't care. It's like like I get it. I get it. Yeah. Like the only person who can fix their problems is themselves, but that doesn't mean we have to criminalize the whole thing. We have to create a nightmare. We're all human. Yeah. Those rich people put their pants on the same damn way. They've just had money poison their brains so that they can no longer feel empathy or understand other people's perspectives. It's called gold sickness. It's not new.
Well, and what's interesting is we're seeing, I think, you read history and you wonder about like, why did so many emperors go crazy, right? And now we're seeing it with this sycophantic AI sickness, right? We're seeing people go crazy when they talk too much with AI that always agree with them. And I'm like, okay, now I get Nero, right?
Yeah. Well, and you see it in influencers, there's mental health crisis above like streamers and stuff because they become successful and then they're like, oh shit, it's just unfair. And then they like wreckful, like people who can't manage, can't deal with the inequities of David Foster Wallace. Like we see it. It's there. That's
Bo Burnham. Yeah. There's a lot of guys like that. Yep. It's tough.
Wait, did Bo Burnham die?
No. He stopped performing live
because he didn't need to anymore. He's a millionaire and he understands, and like everything he said was about like the meaninglessness and the devoidness of internet content, right? Like I get it.
Yeah.
I would tap out. I wouldn't have social media if I achieved any measure of success. I'd become a recluse and just post. Just write my stuff and publish it.
Yep. Exactly.
The only reason I'm still doing media is I'm not big enough to not need to do media. Right?
I feel you on that, man. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's our 90 minutes. So we'll call it there.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No.
It wasn't just 10. I feel like we just started.
Yeah, we did 90, but you'll have to come back on the show and we'll do some more stuff another time.
Anytime. I do like talking with you. Yeah, we're about as different as we can be too, like politically and philosophically, I think.
Yeah, probably. But I actually don't have trouble really getting along with anyone as long as they're like open-minded and willing to talk about what they think. It's
I have boundaries. I do have limits, but you don't meet them at all.
Yeah, I mean that's probably true. There's some people I guess I won't engage with, but it's a pretty small, You have to go pretty far out of your way for me to be unwilling to engage with someone.
Yeah, like it's specific, explicit reasons that expose me to risk that I'm unwilling to take, really.
Yeah.
And then just there's some people who I have no reason to ever talk to. Like I'm never gonna work or talk to Varg. You know,
Right.
what an asshole, right? Like
Right.
like I murdered some people or something. It's just a nightmare. I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah. There's some limits like that, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's not really my daily
And
life of interaction.
I was undiagnosed from like 2008 to 2000, I don't know, 18 with my illness, and that was when I had most of my interactions with people like Vincent and Luke, and I was not appropriate. Even Matt Finch early on in the blogging thing, I was, unmedicated, insane. I would lash out at people. I would fight with them. I would argue. And so it's understandable that they are like, I remember that crazy guy, and fair enough. I stand by my mistakes and my choices.
Sure. Yeah. Well, listen, man, I know you say you're crazy, but you sound healthy to me, and you sound healthy and happy, which is a lot more than we can say for half of America right now. So.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely an act, friend. We're all alive by choice. Is that what the comedian said?
Oh,
everybody here today made a decision not to kill themselves.
So, all right, I'm being told by my co-host that it's time.
Oh yeah. I've got one that's ready, but is outside the door. So same thing.
All right, we should break here. All right, Max, say hi to everybody.
Oh, what a beauty!
All right, man, it's great having you on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, cheers, all everyone. Thanks for joining us. Axe to Grind, episode 31, and be sure to back Courtney's Kickstarter and support what he's doing on Sinless. Okay, cheers, all.
Yeah.